It is time for Daniel and the Deacon's Den here with us. It's Deacon Dan Brahier. Good morning to you, Deacon Dan. I know that the life of a deacon is varied, but you take on a whole lot more roles, I'm sure, during various times and seasons in the church calendar, particularly during Lent, and can't wait to hear all about what's going on with deacons during this particular season. And good morning to you. I hope all is well.
Hello, Deacon.
Good morning, Ron. Good morning, Dave. I have to say, patio furniture is pretty good. I'll be using that one again. But yes, I mean, as we progress through the year, we take on lots of different duties. And I always say that for a deacon, and I think the same is true for a priest, that Lent is our busiest time of year. There's just so much going on. I think from a priest's perspective, because they're hearing confessions, doing all that sort of thing too. But I always look forward to, as much as I enjoy Lent and Holy Week and everything, Easter Monday is the day to relax. But we have, last week I was doing an OCIA session, and I talked about kind of what deacons do at various times of the year and in general in our ministry. And it's kind of to respond to that question of what exactly is a deacon ordained to do, and how is it different from the ministry of a priest? And so I think in general, the deacon promises to serve the bishop, and that is our first and primary focus. So what is it that the bishop needs us to do? And so he'll send us to a parish and say, by serving the pastor, you are serving me. And we essentially have three areas in which we serve. One is in word, one is liturgy, and one is charity. So we actually write a contract with our wives and our pastors to outline how we're going to serve the parish in each of those areas. And so I think what I would do today is just talk a little bit about liturgy, and then maybe over the next couple of Wednesdays I can talk about the other two as well, because each one of them is kind of its own special thing. So when we say that a deacon is going to serve in the area of liturgy, first we have to think about what liturgy means. Liturgy refers to the public worship of the church. It's those sacred actions that we do that are directed specifically to giving praise and glory to God. So the most obvious of those is celebrating the Mass. So the Mass, we know as the most perfect form of the liturgy. And so the deacon then is expected to assist the priest at that Mass when it's possible. So most deacons usually operate on some kind of a schedule. Like a lot of times they'll assist maybe at one or two Masses each weekend. But it varies a lot. I mean, different parishes have different number of Masses. Some parishes have multiple deacons, so they're kind of in a rotation or a schedule. But we routinely and regularly assist at the Mass. And we've talked previously on this segment about the symbolism of what we're doing at those Masses. But deacons also sometimes will assist at daily Masses. So I do that during the academic year when the students are at the university. Since I'm at a university parish, I assist and preach every Wednesday at the daily Mass. Some deacons do that once a week or every day if they're able to. But again, their participation in that sacrament is so important. Another liturgy that we perform is baptizing children. So by virtue of ordination, we're given the faculties to baptize. So in my own experience, I've had an amazing experience of being able to baptize all 5 of my grandchildren. And that's one of the most incredible things that I've done in my life. We actually, participate in the process of making children adopted sons and daughters of God. What can be more perfect than that? So we, and again, depending on the setting, different deacons may be baptizing children every other weekend, and they might only do a couple a year, depending on the parish that they're in. A deacon has the faculties to witness the marriage of a couple. So we can assist in a wedding Mass, we can preach and preside at a wedding Mass that's outside of Mass. That's a question that actually came up last week at OCIA. They said, I know that, I was asked, I know that a wedding can be inside of Mass or outside of Mass. Do you have to do it one way or another? Does it matter whether one person is Catholic and the other is non-Catholic? And the answer is you can do it either way. They're both fully acceptable, fully valid. Normally, when two Catholics get together and they are married, that we recommend strongly that it be inside of Mass, but if it's a wedding between a Catholic and a non-Catholic, they may choose to do the ceremony outside of Mass, and that's perfectly okay. In that event, a deacon then can preside at it. So as a deacon at a university parish, it's really exciting to see my former student parishioners making that lifelong commitment to one another and assisting at those weddings. Deacons can also lead public liturgy, like the Liturgy of the Hours. So in some parishes, deacons will lead morning or evening prayer once a week or daily. And again, talking about time of year, particularly during Lent, a lot of parishes will do like an evening prayer each week or a couple times a week that the deacon will preside at. At our parish, we lead night prayer on Wednesday evenings at 10 o'clock after our Eucharistic adoration. We have a holy hour on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock. And then also during Lent, deacons can lead Ash services on Ash Wednesday if they're done outside of Mass. So at our parish 2 weeks ago, I was going to say last week, it's been 2 weeks since Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
But isn't it amazing how fast that goes? But we had 4 services, so 2 of them were Masses and 2 of them were Ash services. So I led the 2 Ash services and preached at them. Our pastor then, of course, prayed the 2 Masses and preached at those. In addition, we will preside at funerals. So we can do a funeral vigil service, the funeral itself that's outside of Mass, the committal service at the cemetery. All of those are considered liturgy. Adoration, by the way, is not considered a liturgy. Adoration is really more of a devotion, but deacons can lead exposition and benediction to complement the celebration of Mass. So I do that every other Wednesday at our parish and every Thursday, actually, at the Pastoral Center. So those are just kind of by nature of our ordination. We as deacons are called upon to serve the church in lots of different liturgical functions. And we're not given the faculties, obviously, to consecrate the bread and wine at Mass or to absolve sins. That's the priest's role. But there are a lot of other public liturgies, other ways to celebrate those acts of worship in our parishes that we engage in. So one of the things that we think about every time we do one of these pastoral agreements is to sit down and say, okay, what areas of liturgy, which types of liturgy can I engage in? What will I have time to do? What is realistic for me and my wife? And that becomes a big part of our ministry.
Busy. There's a lot that you have to do, and I think about, of course, during Lent and the leading the Stations of the Cross and so forth. So it seems like every liturgical season, deacons are in high gear.
Yeah, throughout the year we certainly are. It's funny, I was listening the other day to a podcast being done by a monk on things we can learn from a monastery, essentially. And I actually preached about that a few weeks ago on a Sunday Mass. But one of the things that he pointed out was that you would think that in a monastery there would be a lot of downtime when you're kind of sitting around, But he started going through, even as a monk, the things that they do, whether they're helping in the kitchen or they're doing everything from laundry to cleaning in the guest rooms for retreatants to the prayer times, praying the Liturgy of the Hours, working in the fields or cutting the grass or going to meetings. He said, we're busy all the time. We're very much on the run. And I think that we just kind of get used to that as ordained ministers of the church, to say there's a lot of ministry to be done here. And it is particularly amped up during Lent, and no question about that, because there's just a lot more going on. I'm doing a Lenten series right now on Monday evenings at our parish on the 3 pivotal Gospels of the Lenten season, and just preparing for those and presenting those on top of the regular preaching and the other adoration and so forth that we have going on. So it's a very busy time of year.
Love it. And I love when you describe the functions of a deacon in a parish. You say what the faculties are and what you can do, because it varies from parish to parish based on the need and based on what the pastor needs assistance with. And you're just there to serve. Love it, Deacon Dan. Thanks so much for those explanations and for your service. God bless you, brother.
You too. Thank you.
That's Deacon Dan. He's the only one on morning offering that comes with a lion's roar.
That's right. With good reason, too. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.